Good evening. This is Dan, and I'm here for cephalopod cells with an expert, Dr. Nate Durant, on cells for octopuses. And just here to answer a couple questions and fill you in. Hopefully, by the end of this show, you'll have a good understanding of what really happens in an octopus. So, Dr. Durant.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. It's great to have you here.
I'm very happy, very excited.
Good. So, where do you work mostly?
I've been working mainly around the Virgin Islands studying tropical.
Wow, that must be a pretty nice place to work.
It's very nice. It's pretty much always sunny. When it's rainy, I don't work because they don't really show much activity there.
So Dr. Durant, what do these octopi eat?
They various amounts of just like anything that they can find on the ocean floor. They're a predator. They eat only meat. Very rarely have they been observed eating vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
But normally they hunt. They actively hunt or they scavenge.
All right, so basically just a hunter, but leisurely scavenger.
They're very resourceful.
Nice, big brain. But here's another question: what do they get out of the things they eat? Like what energy?
Well, pretty much a predator's strategy is stealing energy from other things to build on itself. Like plants obviously use the light to build cells in their body, but us as predators pretty much steal energy from other organisms. So once they eat the meat, it gets digested and gets broken down into like proteins, and those proteins get reestablished into the octopus's muscles. So certain things like, and then obviously fats would get stored somewhere else. Amino acids would probably be for digestion. To get energy, what predators do, they must feed, and then the carbohydrates that they ingest will turn into glycogen, which is pretty much broken down and is energy for all the cells in its body.
So basically, it's eating and getting digested, the cell,
Yep.
and just used for energy throughout its whole body for every aspect of life. Interesting. Next, I have to ask, where do they usually live? Like in the ocean. They just swim around, or just in one place, kind of.
Usually benthic regions, like deep oceans, ocean floors, just because they don't really have the adaptations of like flying in water. They're usually on the surface of the ocean.
Oh, so would this affect like any of the reproduction or anything like that? Like scarcity of finding each other? Like how do go through like a reproduction?
Yeah, fish definitely have a better strategy in finding each other just because they can get around quickly, but octopi find each other very easily due to their eyes that they have. They have compound eyes, so they can actually visually see. And picking up their patterns on their skin is very easily for each species to do. So, I mean, reproduction is always, I guess, a problem for all species. They just have to figure out how to solve it.
I was wondering, for the cell purpose, do they basically everything else, like how a cell would reproduce inside their body?
Yeah, if we're talking about the actual reproduction, because they go through, they're sexual, so there's a male and a female, and they have to each give 50% of their genetic material to this offspring. So they pretty much have to take one of their whole cells, split it in half, and then those become sex cells. And then once they combine, they'll make a whole cell again, and then that whole cell will just copy itself and make another organism.
So it just basically goes through a simple mitosis.
Yeah. Well, for sexual cells, it would be meiosis, because you're breaking it into haploid cells. But mitosis is basically just the regeneration of another cell.
So that's how it stays lively.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then meiosis just would be the formation of sex cells for
reproduction and for the species.
Oh, okay. So that's the difference between the two. Well, I've been hearing about this special cell that octopi have had that not really many other animals have. Can you go on to describe this?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm studying on cephalopods in the tropical region is these cells called chromatophores. They're pretty much the main, I guess, strategy that they have for surviving cells have pigment sacs within them, and they can open and close because these cells are directly connected to the brain. So it's similar to us reacting to like a touch of electricity or heat. That instant reaction is similar. So they don't really need to think about what they need to be as camouflage, because each of these little sacs of color can open and close depending on what the brain or what the eyes perceive in the environment around it. Which is very interesting, because they need to be able to tell what colors are what and what's going to match in with their background. It's a very interesting.
So it's just a natural camouflage.
It's a very it's one of the first cells that ever gets developed while they're in the first stage of development.
So they're very
important. It's so crucial. You can see that most of all of their body is clear, and they're just pulsating these pigments and
so
chromatophores.
Would you say if octopi didn't have this cell, they would probably be a very less successful species?
Well,
is that important?
Yeah, if these cells got taken away, this is one of their main strategies that they've evolved to have, and if somehow we could take that away from them, yes, they would be a very inefficient species and would get annihilated very quickly.
So you could say if this wasn't there, we probably wouldn't have them in the world.
Very, very, yes.
So very important. So
very important.
So do you have any video of this?
Yes, I took this video that I will be showing right now. It was in Lampshire Bay at St. John, Virgin Islands.
Nice, you can see the tropical.
Yep, it's about 30 feet offshore.
Not bad. Close.
Yeah, very close.
Well, Mike, would you tune to the clip? Wow, Dr. Ray, that was shocking. Actually, I had no idea there would be an octopus there.
Yeah, very interesting.
So very, very, very specific those cells are and what they can create. It looks like you almost create textures. It was that good.
They actually can. They can expand certain parts of the cytoplasm in their cells to actually create just ridges and roughness.
So that thing pretty much is unseen to its prey and predators, if it wants to be.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't, if you see the video to yourself and everyone else's human eye, it's pretty hard to pick up.
I mean, that plant looked like everything was just flowing. But that octopus was actually there.
And that's the only thing that's responsible for that is single individual cells that are attached to the brain. So you would say
cells, crucial part to life.
The chromatophore cell for cephalopods, very crucial for life. Yes.
Good. That's the main point of the show right now, and you just so well proved it.
Yep. Thanks.
Well, it's been a real pleasure having you, and I'm glad to see you.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's been great. I'm talking about these octopi for you.
I've had a real good time. Thank you for having me.
Yep, I'm glad that you proved that cells are just an integral part to life.
Hey, I'm glad I could help.
Yep, and I hope this will educate people and say how important this is.
It's a very interesting subject.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, but join us next time when we go to Scotland on the cells of the Loch Ness Monster with Dr. Seamus McGillicuddy.
Yes, Wale, haze is my aroma. Showing the penny young and contesting me when I'm flowing. Hold down the corners, oh, they ain't heard. Maryland ride with me, we oh so absurd.